Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Apply the appropriate greeting and welcome to another episode of the Rising Lights podcast, episode 29, I believe. That's what I've got in the title anyway. I hope I'm fucking right.
You're right.
I've already titled this one, by the way, Kit, because on Tuesday we have the Bungie. Hey, dude. We have the Bungie reveal that's sort of revealing a bunch of stuff with regards to next season because the new season starts on Tuesday. And Witch Queen, if I'm not mistaken, because a lot of the branding around the whole we're having this reveal is like Witch Queen related, from what I've seen. So I've already titled this one the one because we had the long one, we had the one back after the break. So I figured, fuck it, I'll title this one the one before the Bungie reveal. So yeah,
It won't be long. It won't be long until one of our titles will be indistinguishable from the title of a Friends episode.
Pretty much. But yeah, so as per usual, the music that we came into was a part of the plan. The one that we came into was Shelter. If you want to go and check them out. Firstly, Cody was on the podcast. He goes by RafeBoundCA on Twitch. If you want to go and check him out, there's the link. And then we've also got a command for the band themselves, and there is a clip from the podcast where we had Cody on, where he basically spoke about his and the band's stance on people using their music, which the long and short of it was they say have at it, they look forward to seeing what people come up with using their music. So whether it's background music for live streams or in some sort of montage thing, they love seeing it all. So we'd appreciate it if you went and checked them out. But here we go. Let's get into the actual content then, Kit. What have we got? Firstly? The Twitch offering.
Well, we do have that, but first, if I just let me press this button. When that finally goes through. Hey. 12 months. It's
12 months, dude.
It's the subversary. Technically it was the subversary yesterday. But I waited till today to put it through.
It's funny because Ronan did his 12 months the other day, and I was like, wait, I got affiliate in fucking September. What the fuck's going on? Why is it 12 months? And he's like, I do mine in 3-month things, and it goes from this month to next month. So that's your 12th month.
Yeah,
so
it's the 12th month.
True. So yeah, I don't know. I want to do something special, but I'm not sure. But yeah, we'll get around to that.
I'm gonna end up having my 12 months as affiliate, and only have been actually going live for like 4 of them.
That's gonna be hilarious.
If you're like, a month after I start streaming again, it's like, hey, milestone. No, it's not quite that early, but Twitch, gotta love it. All right, what are we doing first? What's going on with Twitch? Yes, the Twitch support. The Twitch features coming, and this one I really, really like.
Yeah. So, at the minute, VODs. Well, I'm assuming this has already gone live.
Yeah, that went live like last night, this morning, sort of thing.
So, Twitch were auto-publishing VOD.
Which is fine. It's there's the point. You have your stream, and then you've got your video on demand. Like, people who miss it, they come and watch it. Yeah, that's why they exist. But we've got some new options now.
Yeah, so you can now toggle it off so that they won't be published. Essentially, being an extra way of avoiding the non-live DMCAs that are in VODs and and
The
clips.
bit that I want to highlight about this is that you could kind of do that already. Like you could just turn off publishing before you start a stream, and it wouldn't publish the VOD from that stream.
Yeah.
However, now you can set it up to automatically not publish based on the category you stream in.
Ah, see, I didn't realize.
So if, like me, when I was live, you wanted to not have specific games published, like if I was playing OS, for example, or another rhythm game, you don't want that being published because that's full of copyrighted music. You can't use that in your VOD and stuff. So now that you can just say, "Oh, when I'm streaming this, don't publish it," that's huge for me, at least.
Somebody here is like, "Ayo, can we get a clip feed, please? It's discoverability Twitch has needed for the past 2 years. Twitch has needed that discoverability for a whole lot longer than 2 years, my friend. And that is not going to help you with discoverability because you probably get like 5 clips a stream. I can tell you for a fact now, anything happens, someone like Summit gets 5 clips per incident. Like, holy shit. Dude, the discoverability on Twitch is not going to be solved by a clip feature. If anything, it's going to be solved by, and I had this idea earlier, right? I was opening up my Twitch to find out who I was going to raid from the actual stream earlier today.
Yeah.
And on my, so I've got my BTTV settings set where my recommended section of my following list on the left just disappears. Yeah, I don't want it on there. If there's anybody that
so
I
you
want
just
to
have
follow,
a long list of stuff you follow on,
yeah, exactly. If there's anybody I want to follow, I'm already following them, or someone I am following will eventually raid them or whatever, and I'll end up, following them from that. Or they've already done that. But the point I'm trying to make is what they should do, I think, with the recommended section, rather than because obviously I was playing Apex. I've got a bunch of people on my following list now that are Apex, as well as Destiny. And so at the top of my recommended, as it flashed up on the screen and then disappeared because obviously the settings kicked in, was Nick Merck, because he was playing Apex. Like, okay, so you want to promote one of the biggest streamers on the platform in somebody's recommended? No. What we need is that recommended section to be filled with everybody that is below 10 viewers. In my opinion, anyway.
That would help, or at the very least have a cap of like 500.
Well, I mean, at the time, I think he had 400, but...
Yeah, but I'm looking at my recommended here. I've got two channels who are streaming art. They're on like 13 odd viewers. I've got Fallout on Destiny 2. That's 3.9. And someone playing Apex at 1.6 thousand.
Who's the
And I've got someone playing GTA. Sweet Anita.
Oh. Yeah, I recognize that name.
Yeah.
But yeah, so my point being though, that sort of recommended section, you're not recommending people, streamers to like watch. You're recommending them chats to be assimilated into. Like, I'm sorry, I was watching Nicefig earlier and he had like, I think 4K, and you have to basically highlight a message to actually ask them a question. Like, so one of the things they were on about was how
there's just that many going through.
It's Timmy had 20k viewers, and the other day when he was doing he did a 54-hour stream, and he did Bronze 4 to Predator in one stream.
Wow.
Yeah. So he went from the bottom of the game to the top of the game in one stream, and that's why it was 54 hours. And it's funny because like the way you would think like I was asking, they were on about like he was potentially doing one. Nicewig was potentially going to do like Bronze to Masters in one stream. And it was funny because I was like, oh, so I put, has there ever been a 3-stack, an actual team of Predators turn around and go, like Apex Predators. I need to get that across perfectly before I get clipped out of context. Has there ever been a team of Apex Predators that turn around and go, oh, do you know what? Let's see how fast we can go from Bronze 4 to Apex Predator. Or at least to Masters, because then you're not taking up one of the limited spots that are, you know, Apex Predator. Because there's only 750 per platform. And he turned around and says, no, I think... He goes, no, I don't think there has. And I think if anybody did that, they'd be looked down upon by the communities. Like, oh, you're shitting on bronze to gold. Like, you know what I mean? And I was like, I mean, true, but at the same time, if everybody... So if, let's say, Wig's team that he plays comp with is the team he was playing ranked with when I was watching him earlier, which is Timmy, him, and a prize. If they went and did it and completed all three of them, getting from Bronze 4 to Pred, or like I said, or at least Masters, in let's say 8 hours, just for argument's sake, what's to say that somebody else like ESM, like Pro Team, Reps, Snipe Down, and Imperial Hal don't just turn around and go, well, we can do it faster than that, and then go and do it. Like, they're not so much, you know, based on the content. They're winning championships and shit. But there are people out there that will probably turn around and go, you know what, we can do that faster than 8 hours. Let's go. And are predominantly producing content for the game. You know, whether it be YouTube content or streaming.
I wouldn't be surprised if that happens at some point and you end up with a site sort of similar to, or on, or was it speedrun.org or .net or whatever?
But apparently, it would be looked down upon by the upper echelon of the community as, oh, you predators shitting on goals. Like, hello, you lot praise these pub stompers that me and my Keth, who I was playing with earlier, we got shat on earlier, by Fade. He's a pub stomper who played in comp in the last split of last series of ALGS before the champ, and then I think he played in champs as well. Like, you praise these pub stompers like Fade, Stormman, and Shiv to an extent, but then when those same players are going to go, okay, we're going to make a team and go into ranked from the bottom of the rank to the top as fast as possible to create that little bit of competition amongst everybody. Like, you know what I mean? I don't see it myself, but that's beside the point. I got off topic anyway.
It's fine.
Speaking of something being offered, though, there you go. A little bit of a segue there with new content.
A little bit of a segue, yeah. New content ideas and features. Probably a little more emphasis on features because, I mean, if you don't have new content ideas, you're just going to end up doing the same shit as everyone else. And my players balked again. Oh well, I have no idea what's going on with the stream. So you'll have to keep an eye on that, chap. Twitch are offering their dedicated community members, as it says in the article, an opportunity to develop new initiatives for content and features, and they're doing grants. So basically, if your idea is sort of deemed a good idea by Twitch, they could give you a little bit of funding to do it.
So what I'm hearing is Kit needs to start making some shit.
I'd probably be in the later two categories. Well, okay, maybe not. So they have these 5 categories if you look a little bit further down.
Oh yeah.
And they're offering 10,000 to a winning idea in each of these categories. So content ideas for gaming, creative, and other. And then you've got like things that fall under those categories. So this podcast would fall under other.
Right.
Well, I don't know if it'd be a winning idea. We'll see.
I
And then
mean,
you've got
what
developments of extensions and integrating for games.
are they just gonna reach out randomly to people and go, "Here, we think this is
No,
a
so
great idea. Work it out."
you do have to apply for it.
That's my point then.
Yeah, but many of these are pretty open, meaning that almost any idea you've got should be eligible for consideration. But make sure you read the rules to find out how to enter. And there's a little link at the bottom with that. Read the rules.
Oh yeah.
And it takes you to Twitch's blog post for it.
Well, since we're talking about it, we might as well open that up real quick. So yeah, they're talking about.
And they accept ideas from the UK, US and DC, Canada excluding Quebec, EU, Switzerland, and the UK. Because we're not in the EU, so they can't just lump us in with them.
Yeah, and neither Switzerland.
Nope. Winners will be announced on or around September 17th, and in the public access show. So I might watch that. I'll come back to this this post and have a look and see what ideas people have come up with.
I think, like, you know me, I've got a bunch of fucking things I could turn around to Twitch and go, look, like I just have with regards to the recommended thing, right? Here, do this, and it will make the platform so much better. It will make it so much easier for smaller streamers to be recognized and brought up when they deserve to be. And then the pieces of shit that, you know, are just doing all these hate raids that have been going around and being racist pieces of shit, misogynistic pieces of shit, you name it, and just being a bad person, but are still for some reason on this fucking platform because people, you know, gravitate to them and believe the same fucking shitty belief system. Can stay at the bottom. Do you know what I mean? If they've got fucking 5 viewer like racist pieces of shit, they can stay there because normal people will go into their stream, realize they're a racist piece of shit, and go, yeah, no, and just leave. You know what I mean? But the actual people that are trying to put in the work to be raised up, like, I'm sorry, seeing how many viewers John or Cody had when they first started playing in like ALGS, and comparing that to now, like, I was watching him last night and there's people doing E-series, and there was people putting in follow age, watch time commands in his chat, and they're like, follow age is like a month, watch time for like 100 hours, and it's like, there's nothing wrong with that, you know. Everybody finds somebody to watch different times, like, fine. But it's like, you have been introduced to Cody through somebody raiding him, or you've seen him on, you know, ALGS, E-series, maybe even a fucking clip video like Zit is on YouTube. There's a bunch of clips from the Apex community. Or you've seen him on TikTok or something like that. Do you know what I mean? Whereas there are people who have been there longer than I have, like fucking Anne, for instance. Today is actually their 3-year anniversary, so big fucking respect to them. Making the long distance of basically the entirety of the US, because John is in Florida in South, and Anne is in New Hampshire in the North. Like, they make that shit work. Do you know what I mean? So, but my point being, though, if somebody had had that system in place on Twitch 6 months ago, then Cody and Greek and Stink and, you know, all these other smaller teams that were playing in the ALGS would have been brought up a lot faster than they already have. Now, obviously, Predators, Apex Predators recognize Apex Predators, so there was a funny clip going around Twitter. I think I liked it, or I might have even retweeted it, of Greek getting raided by Snipedown. And yes, it is the same Snipedown that used to be a Halo pro who took part in the Twitch Rivals Halo tournament today. He got raided by Snipedown for 4,000 people, and he was watching a girl twerking on his stream. And he was like, "Oh, it's not what it looks like. It's not what it looks like." It, like, closes the stream down real quick. And he's now known as like the CEO of Sneaky Link, and he's like, you know, his name's out there. Like, but Snipedown would have known him from the comp team, playing against him in fucking ALGS, playing against him in Scrim and shit like that. Do you know what I mean? And seeing him in Pred lobbies, like. So that's how they've been brought up. So it's quite lucky that other players within the scene are bringing them up. Cody the other day played with Bronzy and It's Timmy, and like I just said, It's Timmy had 20k viewers today. I don't know what he's on now. I know he's still live, but and then 60k viewers when he was doing his fucking 54-hour stream. Like, that shit is mental. And Cody played with him, so Timmy knows how good of a player he is. You know what I mean? Like, kind of nuts when you think about it. But again, systems, like, it shouldn't be on us as streamers to go to the bottom of the directory and go, "Do you know what? I'm going to take a chance on you." We should be able to look at the recommended thing and it actually be people recommended because, you know, they've put in the work, they've streamed, I don't know, they've done all of the partner numbers except the concurrent viewers, you know, the 75 average.
Yeah, that'd be a good criteria actually for listing and recommended channels.
Like,
but
anyone who is above the hours, above the days, but not above the average viewers for partnership, boom. Right? Because then you can still turn around and say for partnership pushers and shit like that, right? You can go, okay, well, if we put them on recommended, more people go to them. That's going to artificially inflate the number to whereby they might hit that 75 average.
But then can they keep it?
There you go.
That's the determining factor, because you'll have a lot more people being able to apply, but then you'll just have them being like, the first time they apply, automated response will be like, okay, we're just going to come back to you in like a couple of months' time and see if you can keep the numbers. It's like, great, well done, congratulations on hitting it. Keep going.
Yeah, that would be my point. But here we go. But that's my point as well with regards to this. I've got all like ideas like that shit that would work and would help. Not only Twitch as a community itself grow, but then also the streamers within that community grow as well. But where would I put that? How would I articulate it? Blah blah blah. You know what I mean? Like, this is my issue with regards to shit like this. It's like, Twitch, you can very much turn around and say to me, all right, click here to submit, because, you know, there's a link there. A video of 3 minutes or less. Describing your idea and vision. Which one does it go in? For one, like, how am I personally? I don't know myself. We've been live for 27 minutes already for the podcast, right? And we're on the second fucking topic because I've just gone around the houses trying to fucking explain shit on 2 topics.
Yeah, but
this is my point. I can't do that in 3 minutes.
Yeah, but here's the thing: is that with the recommendation for that, these are for. I mean, they've got very clear categories. So we go, okay, what have I got? Pick a category. Does it fit? Yeah. Which bits of it fit? Focus on those.
Maybe this is something me and you will have to talk about off a stream,
maybe
off a podcast.
I mean, it's gonna. It will take a while to get it
to
filtered down into a short, like.
We might have to work together and put shit in. Put something.
Yeah. Yeah, it'd be nice.
And I will just turn around. I'll just turn around to him and say, listen, like, the $10,000, just fucking give half of it to fucking charity. Me and Kit will split the other half, and we'll just beef up our PCs and gift our friends a bunch of fucking stuff. There we go.
Here we go.
Speaking of,
you had
a lot of money on the line.
Where are you going with this? Okay. That's not the segue I would have used, but I was going to the same one anyway, so it doesn't matter. I was gonna go back to the fact you were talking about LGS before, but oh well. The CDL, or the Call of Duty League Championships, are going on this weekend. Started today. Today was day one. That's the day of recording, not the day that you listen to it. So that would be the 19th of August. 19th. Was the day of recording.
But yeah, as I said, there is a lot of money on the line. $1.2 million.
Mm-hmm. And the glory lies in the trophy, but that's that's more.
I mean, if I remember correctly, they didn't even have a trophy last year because it was online.
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, given the global restrictions, you can't really blame them for that. No, well, no, as usual, they've got like I don't know, are they actually using Twitch drops, or are they doing like their own thing with it?
They normally do their own thing with YouTube.
Yeah. Because I had seen, because the reason you knew about this is I got an email to say, hey, this is coming up. You know, here's how you get this particular weapon variant or whatever.
Viewership reward.
Yeah, there we go.
Watch live matches on our available platforms to earn rewards. Tune in every day to get.
That's mildly annoying.
Yeah, it's YouTube. It's because the Call of Duty has a partnership with YouTube.
We need to get a partnership with Twitch, then we can help push it. Or at least do I don't know, well, maybe not co-streams and stuff. But
they used to, but then Overwatch League, just before Call of Duty.
Because I mean, they don't need to try and build anything around this. They can just use Twitch's drop system.
Yeah.
They're doing it all wrong. Okay. COD. What else is going on with COD?
Well, we've also got the announcement of the new game. So they released the trailer for Call of Duty Vanguard. It's a 3-minute long trailer, as you can see here. I'm just gonna pause it where the name comes up. There we go. And the release date, which, let's face it, everybody knew it was going to be November. They just didn't know what the actual date was going to be, but now it's been confirmed to be November 5th. Obviously, you can see this is the official Call of Duty Twitter, if you're watching on YouTube or Twitch. Then there's obviously more information below, as it says critical information. It says critical intel.
They've got critical intel, they're called. Yeah. No, they've got quite a long thread of tweets.
Yeah.
About it.
So obviously it's set in the World War II, Special Forces, and the creation of Special Forces through the eyes of 4 multinational heroes in Call of Duty Vanguard. So you battle, as it says, look, see how they turn the tides as they battle across the globe. There's a new Warzone experience coming, so there'll be a new map for Warzone, more than likely. Yeah, look, brand new map. Gameplay and playlist. This Warzone experience will be supported with the new anti-cheat system on PC. So for those who didn't know, Call of Duty has been running rampant, Warzone specifically because it's free to play, with cheaters, and that is what caused players like Nick Merckx, Tim the Tatman, etc. to go and play Apex, where there is still cheaters, but there is at least an anti-cheat system there to cut that number of cheaters down. So yeah, whilst this is a good thing of there being a new anti-cheat system, I can guarantee you will not get rid of all of the cheaters. It will just get rid of most of them.
No, but I mean, I bet a deterrent gets rid of about 60% to the 40. Yeah. They don't care. They're hell bent on cheating.
And then 20 maps will be available at launch. 16 core multiplayer maps, which is more than any other COD in the past 3 years, I believe. maybe even longer than that. 4 Champion Hill maps, which I can only think is another game mode, kind of like they had War in World War II. Multiplayer will feature diverse areas, gunsmith systems, Champion Hill game mode. That guy off mute blasting music in the background. That's kind of funny. Teammates not playing the objective. That's true. Did we say 20 maps and much more? Multiplayer details and opening betas coming soon. Here's a reason why I carried on reading the thread, by the way, after the anti-cheat. This, for the first time ever, the developer who is making the game is not making the zombies or survival-esque game mode. So obviously in Advanced Warfare, it had a zombies mode. Sledgehammer made it. In IW, you had like survival or whatever, and they were shooting and Ghosts. You had survival. It was just, you know, enemies from the campaign invading the multiplayer maps, and you had to survive. Like this, they are getting Treyarch to make the zombies for Call of Duty Vanguard. So this wouldn't. I don't think this. It won't surprise me if next year, when it's Infinity Ward's turn to make the Call of Duty, because we just had Cold War that was Treyarch's game. If Treyarch have been working on the Vanguard zombies, as well as obviously updates and shit to Cold War, it would not surprise me if next year we get Infinity Ward, Call of Duty, and Treyarch is doing the zombies game mode for that too. You know what I mean?
Was it?
And then
was
it's kind of like
the most recent one. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking about like the timescales for these, right? They'll only have had
where I was going with that train of thought,
whatever
right,
team was working on zombies on this.
Where
for
I
them
was
to be
going
dedicated to it.
Where I was going with that train of thought is having a dedicated game, essentially separate from the main game, like Warzone is, that is tied in with each main game that comes out, but is a zombies game mode, and it's made by Treyarch.
Oh, right.
So they
I suppose if they're doing that with
Treyarch,
zombies.
Yeah, if they completely cut maybe they're testing the waters with this, and then they'll test it again next year, and then the year after we'll get announcement of, oh yeah, the zombies that you know and love, it's all coming in one package deal, and it's going to be kind of like Warzone. It's going to be tied into every Call of Duty going forward. But Treyarch is making it exclusively, because even though Treyarch is making additions to the Dansk and all that now for Warzone, and I'm assuming with, you know, this announcement of the new map and stuff, that Sledgehammer have done the same thing.
Yeah.
It runs on the Modern Warfare engine still, from 2 years ago, essentially. So it's still Infinity Ward's version of the game, which is why the Call of Duty pros that are playing in the CDL thing that we just mentioned don't play Warzone. It's because the slide cancelling works different, the bullet registration works different, because it's a different version of the same engine. And it's just been updated with new assets that are from the newer game. If you want to watch someone talk about that, the Eavesdrop podcast with Hector Rodriguez, the CEO or co-CEO of NRG, and now owns Optic again, Optic Chicago. He spoke to FaZe Sprague. I can't remember his fucking name. Episode 101 of the Eavesdrop podcast on YouTube. And I think it's on Spotify as well. I'd have to have a look. But my point is, if you want to hear him talk about that, because Sprague or Swag or whatever his name is, he plays Warzone.
Nice.
Well. Yeah. Then obviously they're going with new characters. new gamers and stuff like that. And then, so the TLDR is this right here. Cross everything, play, progression, and gen. Okay, didn't read that part earlier. Well done. Cross play and progression.
That is good. Yeah.
And then obviously you can get more information if you want to look at the blog post. But we mentioned anti-cheat for Warzone. We mentioned that it's not going to get rid of all the cheaters, but it is going to dissuade most of them. We're going to move into the Destiny ones now, and we finally got some information from Bungie regarding Destiny potentially having anti-cheat, and they have confirmed.
What do you mean potentially?
No, that's what I'm saying. Everybody was saying we needed. No, I was saying we potentially needed. People were saying we potentially need anti-cheat with crossplay, and now Bungie have officially said yes, it's coming, and it's getting a soft launch next season with crossplay. So it's just another step towards leveling the playing field for all. AKA, I like the way cheaters get the fuck out of the game.
And I like the way they phrase that as just another step, because they know, as the community knows as much as they do, this isn't going to get rid of all of them. It'll get rid of about half of them. It'll deter about a third of what's left.
I don't know. I've seen a load of people seeing this announcement and going, "Yay, anti-cheat! Trials is saved!" It's like, no. There was one person though that I saw an actual genuine response to it, speaking fucking facts, and that was ill physics. I don't know if it's actually in here.
Let's see if I can find that. Otherwise,
but yeah, ill physics. He basically turned around and went, "This is a good step in the right direction. It's what we need, but it will not get rid of all of them." If I remember correctly, I'm paraphrasing obviously because I'm not quoting that tweet word for word. I read it earlier quickly. And then he was saying something in the replies with regards to needing more PvP content, game modes and shit, which they are also working on. But also the maps. He pretty much, when somebody jokingly said, "Oh, well, you're getting a new map every season," he turned around and went, "Yeah, that's the good thing about taking an indefinite break. I've got all the time to work, all the time to wait." So basically saying, yeah, you might say, "Oh, there's only one new map a season." It's like, yeah, but if I wait 3 seasons, that's 3 new maps for me to play. Right? But yeah, so they are partnering with Battle Eye, which I had no idea what it was until somebody said, "Oh, that's anti-cheat." And I was like, "Ah, cool." This will probably have an effect on the next thing that Kit has put in our document to talk about, which is the Steam numbers.
Yeah. So the bit that you can see there is just like the past 7 days. If you scroll it back to like the past 3 months, maybe, right? Every time we come to a Tuesday, you get a slight peak.
Yeah, true. Very true.
And that is interesting.
I guarantee you, I can't remember when did the season launch, but I guarantee you May 22nd is probably about it. Right? No, not May 22nd. It would have been earlier in that week. Okay, this kind of like it. I don't fucking know. Anyway, yeah. So we get a boost on Tuesdays.
You said all of that while muted. God damn it.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah. Well, you can see, it ramps up, like it gets to the end of a season, and season starts, it ramps up, and then it comes back down again and flattens out, and then ramps up again at the start of the next season. And there was a little bit of a burst the last one, or there was less of an increase. I can't remember which. And then again, it came up and it's come back down. Now it's come back down and been a bit jaggedy.
If you look at it, here's the thing. I'm looking at the year thing right now. October, November, high. Basically drop. middle of the year again, comes about halfway back up, drops again.
But what have those had in common? Decent sized content drops.
Yeah.
And looking at where we are now, we kind of need one because we're at that low point. But if you look at the one you're looking at now, you've got those little peaks on the Tuesday, and that is the people coming on the Tuesday, seeing what's up, getting like weeklies done in like a couple of hours, and then getting off for the week. Never to return until the following Tuesday.
And I'm telling you, I had this conversation the other day, right? I'm not gonna go over it too much because it actually kind of fucking annoys. But it's because the game is too dry now, too casualized. You can get on a Tuesday, and in 20 minutes, an hour max, have your weekly story done. Strikes other than pinnacle grind, you know. I was playing the other day doing pinnacles from a hunter and my titan, and I'm just like, after 3 strikes I want to get off the game. Boring. I get the one drop and then it drops something I've already got at 1320, like a fucking weapon. That's even more fucking annoying. And I'm just like, oh, well, I now I need to go and do 3 games of Gambit. Fuck Gambit. Now I need to go and do 3 fucking expungers. That's fucking annoying. I need to go do 1 Harbinger. Well, by myself, that's annoying. Or fucking Presage, again, by myself, that's annoying. It's like 20 minutes of fucking half an hour of content where I'm just in 1 mission that I've done like 60 times. You know what I mean? It's the same with like GMs. The reward from GMs is the getting a different stat roll on an exotic that you've already got, getting the materials, you know, golf balls, fucking enhancement prisms, enhancement cores, what have you, and then helping others do them if they haven't done them. Like I helped Civics out earlier this season. He needed somebody to be his like wingman in helping pulling one person from his chat, getting them through a GM. So I said, well, I'm down. You know, I can run Stasis Warlock and we Gucci. So yeah, we did that for, 6 hours I think it was that day. That was fun. And like having a laugh with different people going through each one, and then when I died, it's like, fuck, I died to a thrall that I shouldn't have died to. You know what I mean? Laughing at myself because I made a stupid mistake, and like it was fun. But for me to just get on the game and go, all right, what do I need to do? Okay, I need to do Vault of Glass. I don't have 5 other people to do that. I need to do GMs and higher up Nightfalls to get the 100k. I don't have 2 other people to do that. I need to do strikes. I need to do 3 strikes, and they're boring as all hell. And I get 1 drop at the end that actually matters. The other shit just fills up my postmaster. Same with Gambit. Same with Crucible. Same with all the other different little activities like the fucking Nightmare hunts and shit. Like, well, not Nightmare, Empire hunts because they're still pinnacle. And it's just like, I'm bored. Give me new shit. But no,
I think at this point,
they give us new shit.
They
give us new shit at the beginning of the season, right? And they go, oh yeah, we've got this new seasonal content, new seasonal model, blah 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 blah. And because the fear of missing out is gone, right? You can actually turn around and go, oh well, do you know this like, let's say because this is the 3-month period, right? Let's say this is the start of the season. Let's say I don't want to play Destiny anytime during May, June, and I start playing around the end of July. I could still get all of this content that was here done, which is good, yeah. But at the same time, if there's somebody like me, like countless other people that have enjoyed this game for the longest fucking time, they go, oh, new story, I want to experience this right when it comes out, so I don't get it spoiled, so I can actually enjoy, you know, finding things out, theory crafting, blah 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 blah. So you do all the story, you get to July, and boom, it's gone. There's literally no more for like a month and a half. Like, that is stupid as shit. And then you get to the last 2 weeks of the season, it's ooh, epilogue. What? And then the epilogue is what? Here, do a seasonal activity, but in a different setting. And here's a cutscene, which is a fucking cool ass cutscene. And then the second week is, oh yeah, go to the helm, speak to the server. Then it tells you go to the fucking tower, interact with a memorial. You interact with the memorial, and it's just Mithrax going, you know, humans and Elixir will be buried together. Well, done. Like, where is fucking the ability to do shit like Menagerie and the Season of the Worthy, bunkers, and having that whole build up a story to where the Almighty finally like starts to come crashing down, and we are building these rockets and these weapon systems for Rasputin to fire at the Almighty. Then he fires in the public of, you know, this event, the public event thing that everybody could witness, live event, and boom, it happened. Yeah, we had Season of the Worthy, then Season of Rivals, 2 live events, and then we've had no live event for Season of the Hunt, no live event for Season of the Chosen, no live event for this season so far. Like, the fuck is going on?
It's to the point where Destiny's become one of those games you don't play for the game, what you play for them. It's like playing golf with your friends, right? You don't play that to go and play mini golf with people. You play that for a lot of laughing and joking about that happens. You know, like you line up your shot and then someone knocks you further up the course, or one of the ones where like you've got random ball shapes, so you never know whether you're going to get a ball or a cone or a cube, and that's going to change how you play, and you just have a laugh, right? It's the way you play it has kind of changed, and not all for it. I just kind of want like somewhere in between where it is now and where it was. But they're making some changes, and
well, before we get onto that, right? One thing I will finish up this little bit of a rant I had is Season of the Hunt, right? Launched with 5 hunts. We got the 6th one when the High Celebrant, you know, the story made sense. Okay. Season of the Chosen launched with 2 battlegrounds, which slowly increased to 4. Yeah, 4 battlegrounds that are each individually launchable from the director during their season. Yeah. And I think if you still got a quest, you've still got a quest based in that particular one, you can still launch it from the actual director. Yeah, because I've got one on my Hunter that allows me to launch the one from Europa Battleground. Alright, because I need to do that to do the quest. It tells me, alright, you can launch this one specifically. If not, there's a playlist, right? And it randomly gives you one. We get to this season, and it's overrides. They're on a weekly rotation. Yeah, there's one node for it that's in the helm. So you have to go through like 3, essentially 3, like, open up your director, then go into the helm, then like scroll over to it. You know what I mean? And it's like the content has taken a step back, because now with the Last City override that we got last week, we have 4 overrides. With the Courier expunge that we got 2, 3, 4 weeks ago, whatever it was, right, 5, 6 weeks ago, whenever it was, we have 4 expungers. Right? But the expungers are individually able to be launched. You can launch Tartarus, you can launch Labyrinth, you can launch the other, I forget what the other one's called. Or you can launch Styx. That might actually be the other one. But either way, you can launch the 3 normal ones and then you can launch the Chlorio one if you really want to. Like, any of them. And they're a pinnacle, you have to do 3 of them. You can do 3 of the same one if you really want to. Alright? My point being, if I want to kill Hive in a override mission for one of the seasonal challenges, I'm pretty sure that was one of them at one point, because I heard, if I remember correctly, Lee was like, I can't do it this week because I'm on the Tangled Shore doing override and the Hive don't spawn here. It's the Cabal or the Vex, or the Scorn or the Vex, one of the two. I don't know which. But anyway, the point I'm trying to make is we've taken a step back. We've gone from 5 hunts to 4 battlegrounds to 3, essentially, now 4 override. But that 4th override is only available for the last 2 weeks of the season. And then next season, I'm assuming the override node will probably get its own playlist, kind of like Battlegrounds did, and it'll be just rotating, I'm assuming, because that's how the node has worked so far. It'd be easier for them to just move the node rather than go, oh yeah, we'll just make it so that it randomly picks an override. Like, this is the conversation I had with Bionic in his chat, right? It was with 5 in, because 5 and him were doing duo GM. Is we need to stop looking at Destiny blindly and going, oh yeah, this is a fucking great game. Like, it does everything perfectly, because it doesn't. And it's taken me, like, I was coming back to Destiny in Season of the Worthy, right? And it took me 3-4 weeks before I was like, do you know what? I'm actually getting really bored of like just doing the same shit by myself constantly. I need to find a group. And then they announced, oh yeah, the raids are going to be infinitely farmable in Season of the Rivals. And I was like, well, you know what? I've never actually done any of the D2 raids. The D1 raids, and I was actually very fucking good at them. To the point where I clutched with one other person the final fight of Wrath of the Machine, and I was on a hunter. So all these people, and this is one thing that when I turned around and said the strike system, the nightfall system, and the raid system were better in D1 than they are in D2, Bionic turned around to me and went, yeah, because you had self-res Warlock in raids you could clutch, because I said, oh, raids are clutchable, whereas they're not now. I went, yeah, so explain to me how I did that on a hunter, because I never played a fucking Warlock in D1 until Rise of Iron actually came out. My flatmate, Carl, or Carl the UK Hobbyist as he goes by on Twitch, you might see him here now and then in my streams when I'm playing with him, or in my chat. Alright, but my point being, they played my my Warlock, not me, because I didn't fucking like the Warlock. Now I am a Warlock, mate. But that's the point. So long story short, when you try and tell me, which is what they were basically trying to do, that the game I've followed for 10 years, the game I've played for 7, is perfect in every way, shape, or form. It provides the most content of any FPS. Then I'm gonna tell you, in PvP, yes. PvP, you go in, and if people aren't using the meta fucking shit, like You know, Shatter Dive when it was meta, like fucking Dead Man's Tale, like the 120s when they were meta. Like, people have their different preferences on different loadouts, and therefore that is infinite content. Yeah, it's impossible. The same with games like Apex, right? The RNG, the fact that it's battle royale, you know, so you have to loot up that RNG aspect, the RNG aspect of picking different legends. Each squad has a different team composition. Like, that's infinitely going. Like, you might be dropping on the same 3 maps in pub or the same map in rank, but it's infinite possibilities because there's different weapon loadouts, different shields that people can have, different ways to approach fights and shit. Like, infinite. Any sort of PvP is always going to be infinite. When you come to PvE content in Destiny, there is a simple thing of strikes and GMs and shit like that, raids to an extent as well. You're running through an activity and you get to a boss, you beat the boss, boom, you're done. Yeah, you might approach different things differently here and there, but for the most part, you know your loadout for a given task and you're going to use that loadout. Like, when me and Civ were running those GMs, as I mentioned earlier, right? My loadout was with a horde, either my ARC scout rifle for barrier or my Vision of Confluence, which is solar scout rifle for barrier. And then I had my rocket launcher on, and then I was Stasis Warlock. Did I change that? No. The only time I changed it was between those two, the ARC scout rifle or the solar scout rifle, and it was based primarily on what was covered by Civ and the other person coming in. If the other person had ARC and Civ had ARC, I was running solar. If Civ had solar and the other person had ARC, I would just make an educated guess. Like, oh, right, well, my better of the two is my Vision of Confluence, so I'll use that. So I've got another solar. Like, my point being, there's only so much you can do with PvE content. And they're not giving us any extra. The seasonal model sucks in comparison to the seasonal model last year and definitely the year before. But the year before, you know, they could be forgiven because they had like Vicarious Visions and stuff helping them. So, because Vicarious Visions, if I remember correctly, did
quite a lot.
If I remember right, Vicarious Visions were the one that did the Menagerie and the Crown of Sorrow.
But I think so.
Anyway,
I know the raid. I know they did the Menagerie. Those would make sense if there's. Yeah.
On that note, you know, they wanted to.
You actually see it on the right as well. This one.
What? Oh yeah.
So in your what's happening box, you've got the TWAB is trending, and now we have a description as well. So if you see the TWAB trending on Twitter, it'll say gamers eagerly await a new this week at Bungie blog post, and then it'll say how many tweets there are.
Hey. But yeah, so that's the result of this is that DMG basically earlier today tweeted out, everybody just tweet the word TWAB, don't retweet it or whatever. Where is it? Here, tweet the word TWAB, just tweet it, not quote retweet, not reply to me, just a tweet. Why? I don't know, just want to see what happens. Alright, and then he goes, and then literally, look, that was 6 hours ago. 4 hours ago, he says, well, that's interesting, and it's trending in the US, right, with 7,700. And there's no description, and then obviously that's when he tweeted out.
There's no description, yeah.
Then he tweeted out
there
the one
is
that
now.
he gave the description. So, mentioning the TWAB, we
all right, I'm going into a meeting. Please don't burn the house down. God damn it.
All right, meeting over. How are we feeling, folks?
Well, I don't know. How are we feeling?
Firstly, we're going to go for last week's TWAB. or the what we're calling it, the lab.
The lab. Yeah. Last week at Bungie. Last week we had this one, which has got armor stuff in it. So onwards.
So quickly going over it, because I do want to give us a little bit of time at the end of the podcast to sort of talk about what we're hoping to see on Tuesday. So yeah, we had, the epilogue come out. So last week, less than 2 weeks until the Destiny 2 showcase, which is what we're on about, is happening on Tuesday. Are you hyped? We are. We previewed some Season 15 champion mods this week. Miss it? Well, here you go. So, as we can see here... Oh, I think I'm accidentally opening the page. You got anti-barrier auto rifle again. Unstoppable fusion, which is linear and normal fusion. Overload bow. Thank fuck, I can use my fucking arsenic bite again. Unstoppable pulse rifle, unstoppable
pulse and sidearm.
Sidearm, which we had this season. Unstoppable sidearm, and we had unstoppable hand cannon the season before last season. We had unstoppable hand cannon last season, and then we've got it again this season. So I'm a firm believer, by the way, that since this is now from this season and next, that next season after, season 15, we will see unstoppable pulse. Quote me on it. But yeah, so fine tuning. They're gonna fine tune a bunch of armor. I am gonna quickly skip over shit. But we are gonna cover key points. The fine tuning some of the things within the game, like controller sensitivity and traction. Traction felt like a mandatory mod for PvP on controller and unnecessary on M&K. This felt to be appropriate as a accessibility option rather than a balanced choice. Players, including us, have also felt that a maximum of 10 sensitivity wasn't enough on controller. So we're making some changes to bring controller input closer to parity with keyboard and mouse. Kind of like they did with the was it aim assist? No, not aim assist. It was the...
I think they did a little bit.
Stability changes. It was the stability changes.
Stability, that's what it was, yeah.
On some weapon. See, as I said, so they've added sprint turn speed scaler from 0.3 to 0.8. So you'll be able to control how fast you can turn on controller. And they've removed the traction mod. Additional controller sensitivity options. So 1 to 10 will be the same as before, and then 11 and 20 increases over that, so you can make your sensitivity absolutely nutty. And then they've added sensitivity modifiers for ADS, which is 0.5 to 1.5. So,
what I want to know is, why would you want your ADS higher if you're aiming down the sights?
I'm assuming that's actually kind of like how Apex has based theirs. If you set your Apex sensitivity to, I don't know, 5 for M&K, right? And then your ADS sense is 0.7. It is 0.7 of that 1.5. You know what I mean? So
right.
It will actually.
I just don't see why that's no scale as 0 to 1 otherwise. Oh well. Because that makes it look like it's going from half to 1.5 times. 50 to 1, whatever.
Yeah, it says.
I mean, maybe you might want to, because it's a modifier, so maybe it's not comparing to the amount that you would.
So you'll be able to turn basically.
Okay, it's already scaled down, so it's how much that scaled down amount is.
So the way I'm reading
so
this.
1.5 would be no scaling down, 0.5 would be more scaling down, and 1 would be the same amount of scaling down it already does. Okay, that makes more sense.
It could be that, or it could be the way I'm reading this is, if you have 10 sensitivity, 0.5 will be 5 sensitivity. 1.5, like you said, would be higher. But I don't know. Maybe. I'm not going to use controller, so it doesn't really affect me. But for anybody that does, there you go. Then you've got the super regenerating exotics.
TLDR for these is the capped at 50%.
Yeah. and they've removed the sprint to top off your super from my babies that needed fixing. I'm not even gonna lie. Like, I am still gonna be a Chaos Reach main. I still love the subclass. It still makes me feel fucking badass.
I was using it even without those.
Yeah, but this needed changing. I was using it without those. Do you know the only reason I was using Geomags was the perk that makes it last longer.
Yeah, and that's still there.
Was the sprint to top it off nice? Of course it was. But no, that needed removing long ago. And then retunes and reworks, TLDR, they're adding a bunch of effects to underused or less used exotic. So Bombardiers now has a secondary effect based on your subclass for the bomb. So blind for arc, burn for solar, slow for stasis, suppress for void, and suppression will not affect a guardian that is in super. So yeah, maybe do away with Titan's suppression grenades then, Bungie, because there is no reason for them to have a grenade that does the same thing that a hunter's super does. Okay.
No, that's... Well, yeah, but they could just make that grenade do the same thing, just not affect a guardian in super. Because that's what's happening there, is you dodge and a grenade pops out your ass, basically.
Yeah, true.
Well, it drops out your pocket Graviton, is the way.
Graviton forfeit is increased bonus. Invisibility duration, a melee regeneration is now increased based on the number of enemies near you. While invisible, your recovery is greatly increased and your weapons reload more quickly. That's probably going to see a lot of use in solo content, Graviton forfeit.
Mm-hmm.
Especially with the melee regeneration speed, because it means that people won't need to run the what's the Omnioculist or whatever the fuck it's called, the chest piece for the smoke bombs, because it will just regen faster anyway. Lucky Pans, the hand cannon holster mod has been intrinsic hand cannon holster mod replaced previous functionality with the following. When you ready a fully loaded hand cannon that deals kinetic damage or damage matching your subclass energy type, for a short time, each hit against a combatant from that hand cannon increases the damage of the next shot. No Hawk Moon will not be able to one-shot a raid boss using these legs. Other hand cannons will get a fun edge combat though. What is a hand cannon holster mod? A new kind of mod that reloads stowed weapons. More on that below. So yeah, they're adding more mods, but we'll get to that. Pressure Scars will now create a burst of healing and bonus recovery around you whenever you kill an enemy with a weapon whose energy damage type matches your subclass type. So if I'm rocking Hammer Titans and I kill somebody with Death Adder in a raid and Kit is next to me and he's low on health, he will get a burst of healing and bonus recovery. So he'll recover a lot faster. I like that the Precious Scars kind of saw a lot of unutilization because it revolved around you having to revive someone, which meant they had to die for the exotic to be useful.
Yeah.
Then Icefall Mantle, they've reduced the slower class ability regen scaler, so it now will just recharge as fast as it normally would once the overshield is gone from Icefall. Warlock Verity's Brow changed to trigger when a weapon kill that matches your energy subclass, like your subclass energy type. So a lot of them you'll see and I noticed this as a trend going through all of these, is it's all they're trying to make it so that you use certain exotics with certain weapons with certain subclass types, so that you are getting the best out of them. If you're using
and it's, a lot of it will be
Precious Scars and a fucking Void Grid Skipper, for instance, in a GM, then that will help you a lot more than.
At the same time, I think one of the things they're doing with these changes is bringing us some of the exotics that specify that say, okay, you can only use this with a specific subclass. They're opening that out to other subclasses.
Yeah, exactly. So one of the things that they did, I don't know where it is. It's here somewhere, isn't it? I think it's in here. No, it's not. I think Nezerax is also getting changed, right? Sure, I saw that somewhere.
It might be, but it might have been covered in this twab.
But yeah, so then obviously finders, scavengers, holsters, oh my. So ammo finders now have a chance to spawn ammo on kills with primary weapons and further increase chance with exotic primaries. Again, giving us more reason to run exotic primaries. This is good because exotic primaries feel underpowered in comparison to exotic energies or power weapons. So yes, please.
This is slightly interesting because of what they've mentioned. No. Multiple copies of Scavenger no longer stack. That's fine. The ammo finder, I find rather peculiar because of one of the changes they've made or will be making that they mentioned in this week's twab. Kind of makes that redundant for some of the mods.
Okay. But yeah, so then you've got the new type of armor, leg armor mod that is holster mod. Reload stowed weapons of matching type over time. So multiple copies of holster mod will stack and will increase the rate of that the ammo is loaded. But there will be only holster mods for auto rifle, fusion rifle, grenade launcher power. Funny that they've actually clarified that because we don't have one for energy grenade launchers. It says breach loaded grenade. Are they forgetting that they've still got waveform and with a horde is a thing? But I digress. That doesn't matter because with a horde has auto loading catalyst.
Well, the horde's breach loaded anyway.
Is it? I don't think it.
Yeah, it's the reload. It's the way it loads. You don't pop the thing, put a single shot in, because it's like they said before. This don't want to affect things that have a mag size of 1.
Okay. All right. Anyway, most rocket launchers I run, and grenade launchers I probably have like slide shot or auto loading on anyway. So this really doesn't bother me.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can see the rest there anyway. Then you got Warmind cells. They're nerfing Warmind cells basically, the LDR, and increasing the mod cost of global reach from 3 to 1, from 1 to 3 even, and they're reducing the radius of it. So basically, yeah, Warmind cells are getting Warmind celled. They're getting nuked. Elemental wells are getting buffed. I was trying to use these in Season of the Chosen. They are not too bad, but they really did need a buff. And then we've got the new Iron Banner weapons announced for next season, which is the Forger's Pledge.
I kind of want that pulse,
which is.
And I've not even seen what it can do yet.
I hate the fucking sidearm. It looks like a.
The sidearm is daft.
It legit looks like a fucking phaser from Star Trek. It looks shit. But yeah, it's called the Peace Bond sidearm. I just don't like sidearms, to be honest. I think they're bollocks. They don't hit hard enough, in my opinion. But what hand cannons are for. And then obviously we've got a new set of armor, which we actually saw at the top of the 12 anyway. So go too far there. There we go. So they're going the Iron Forerunner set, and next season you will get the Iron Lord's Pride intrinsic perk on this set, which is wearing a piece of this armor grants a small chance of enhancement prism dropping at the end of an Iron Banner match, giving you more reason to wear the armor whilst playing Iron Banner. For each additional piece worn, increases the chance to be expected when they say a chance, capping out at 4 pieces total. So you can still go, alright, I'll wear 4 pieces and then an exotic.
And you won't be missing out on anything.
Yeah. And then you've got the Twitch Prime rewards, or Prime Gaming as it's changed its name. Everybody still calls it Twitch Prime. I don't care what Amazon tries to change it to. You got the fireworks, the shell, the Barrow, Vanishing Point, and then the ship, which I'm not even going to try and say that name. And then we've got,
Well, it's
the
just
known
Vorpal.
issues.
Vorpal 7, 8.
Yeah, something like that. Then we've got Movie of the Week, was a bunch of GM related videos to help people
8.
get through GMs. Then there was Destiny 2 on the Funtendo Entertainment System. Somebody made an 8-bit Destiny Funtard. You want to go and watch those at all? Then you can hit the TWAB and go and watch those. Or last week TWAB. So if you want to go and watch those, the likelihood is you watched them last week when the TWAB was released. Then you've got the art of the community, and then it says 2 sandbox TWABs down, 1 to go. Next week we've got some fun details on weapons, and all I have to say is
that they do.
Get ready for season of the Voop. No, that's not the official name of the season. It's just I'm excited that Fusion Rifles will have a champion mod next season. Not to mention upcoming Fusion Rifle changes, which we'll cover next week. So, with that being fucking said, thank you for the perfect segue from one TWAB to the next, DMG. Let's cover those changes.
Weapon changes aplenty. Right.
So,
top of the page, we've got a sort of like a recap video. It's like, here's what happened in the past year.
Yeah. A year of epic moments, which is a video. We're less than a week away from the big reveal showcase. No spoilers, but we have a tune-in page set up. And we'll be streaming on both Twitch and YouTube on August 24th. 7 days of Destiny have led... 7 years even. Fucking Jesus. That was what I was going to say from last week to this. Have led to this moment. Join us to learn more about the new adventure unlike any you encountered before. Pre-show is starting at 8 AM Pacific, which is 6 our time? Is that 6 our time? No.
Miss Iris.
5?
4 because
the
reset the reset is 10 AM Pacific, which is 6 our time.
Yeah. So I'll be able to make that.
And then the showcase.
I've got a couple of days off. It's not next week.
And the showcase itself.
It wasn't intentional, but it lines up nice. Yeah,
the showcase itself will kick off at 9 AM Pacific. So you can have an hour of a pre-show, and then, and it says, "Come find out if you can survive the truth." So I'm gonna quickly open that real quick, and it's just them showing off that when the showcase. 7 years of Destiny have led us here. The precipice of an adventure unlike any we've encountered before. Join us as we begin to understand what lies ahead, and will you survive the truth? And this is what made me say earlier that it's like they're gonna reveal some shit about Witch Queen, and that next season is gonna have some major tie-ins to Witch Queen, because this entire background is Witch Queen. Like, that is basically the marketing from.
So is their "Survive the Truth" tagline.
Yeah. So then, obviously, weapon tuning. Next week's update is ushering. I'm dyslexic. You're gonna have to use fucking ushering rather than ushing. In a new season and a big sandbox update to go with it. We have already covered ability tuning here, which obviously links to Bob. Ability, armor and mod changes here, which is leads to last week's Bob. And now it's time to cover what's happening with what's changing with weapons. So
the first thing they come up with in here is like a definition of terms. We can probably skip over that. But it was just making sure that the community knows what they mean when they say certain things.
Yeah. So ideal example right here, you can see projectiles, hit scan and non-hit scan. Hit scan is basically you fire it, it hits the target instantly. Non-hit scan is something like a rocket launcher, where there is a a travel time. So when they use things like that, most people know if they're playing an FPS, these kind of things, right? So do you want to go along with the shotgun thing?
Yeah, so there's a couple of things, and they've mentioned it before. But one thing to note is that they've sort of highlighted how randomness with a shotgun works. And it's actually not as random as you would think or feel when you're playing the game, which is kind of peculiar. So a shotgun shot contains 12 pellets, and they're spread out sort of in 3 rings. So you've got your center point, you've got 1 pellet in the middle of the circle. Then you've got a ring just outside of that that's sort of split up into 4 sections, and each one of those sections has a pellet in them, just somewhere in them. It's just not necessarily in the center. It could be like off to the side or the edge or whatever.
Yeah.
And then the outer ring around the edge with 7 pellets in it. And again, each one of those sections has got a pellet in. And it says like right at the bottom, aside from the center, which is always like dead center of the circle, each pellet is randomized inside a little chunk of the circle around it. So you always end up with like a pattern-ish to where your pellets go.
Right. I think you got it now. For anybody listening, by the way, that heard that, because I can guarantee you that came up on the mic. That was my chair. So don't worry.
Yeah, that's definitely a chair sound, not any other sound.
But yeah, so basically there is RNG, but it's within a circle. Still RNG though, and I personally don't like it.
Yeah, but it's not RNG in the way that like you would think it's RNG.
Yeah, but my point being, so all right, I'll rephrase it. It still leads to a weapon feeling inconsistent, where we could go into a Crucible match, and I can shoot you from the same range 6 times, and 3 out of those times I'll kill you. And you know, the other 3. No, I'm saying if I shoot you at the same range. But it's
but that's what I'm saying is if depending on how close you are, because if you're close enough, the difference in the location on the ring won't make a difference because you're like well within the effective range of the weapon, and it doesn't matter how far they move within that segment. The entire segment would hit me.
Yeah. Well, my point being, it feels like if you are like 10 meters,
so it needs to be so it needs to be at whatever range like some of the segment wouldn't hit for the same damage, other parts of the segment would.
So that's why I'm saying it makes the gun feel inconsistent. You can get that kill, and then you don't get that kill, and you're like, wait, I got that kill like 5 minutes ago. What the fuck? Like exactly the same shot, exactly the same place, exactly the same aim, blah blah blah. You know what I mean? But anyway.
Well, that's the thing, because of the way that a shotgun shot is, you don't have that consistency anyway. Because you can't guarantee that all your pellets, when you fire a shotgun, is going to actually go in exactly the same point. Because it's just an explosion. It's just going to fire them outwards. It's a controlled explosion, fire them in generally the direction you want. But
why slugs will always be better. Anyway.
Yeah.
Stasis power weapons are being introduced. Stasis legendary weapons are being introduced. And we've seen some concern about how these are intended to work, particularly in PvP. So here are some of the details. Stasis power weapons are in the power slot, and other stasis weapons are in kinetic slot. This is to avoid overcrowding the energy slot. So that it's reasonable to use one in match game content, but the kinetic slot
which
won't
makes
be
sense.
Renamed at this time.
You've got your 3 elements, haven't you? They've got all the shields, and then you've got the kinetic slot that doesn't damage, or doesn't have a bonus against the shield, which includes your plain kinetic weapons and your stasis weapons.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Stasis don't intrinsically do anything differently from weapons of other damage types, but they are the only weapons that can roll with stasis perk. We generally intend Stasis perk with slowing or freezing effect to have a kill trigger. This being easy enough to trigger in PvE, fun to use, but not obnoxious to play against in PvP. So kind of like Dragonfly, I assume, but for Stasis.
Yeah.
Freeze things in
Or
the
rather than
nearby
like,
area or something.
yeah. Or slow things in a nearby area.
Yeah. But yeah, that I like that. That's a good way of doing it, in my opinion. Now that we've addressed Quick Draw's permanent plus 100 handling buff, we see more people using the quick swap glitch. The glitch uses a combination of input to animation cancel, allowing near instant weapon swap. We want handling stat to continue to have value on weapons, and don't want, for example, aggressive shotguns to lose their key downside, which is slow swap, due to an unintentional side effect of the animation system. Fix the quick swap glitch, which is kind of fucking. Okay, so this is probably what you were talking about with regards to making some of those mods pointless.
Yeah.
Running out of primary ammo has never been tactically interesting. Somebody actually said this in after the previous job, where they mentioned this, that they were probably going to make it infinite ammo, and as you can see there, primary weapons now have infinite ammo. So
yeah, the thing I want to point out though is in the last one they said that they were changing the finders, right? Ammo finders. They were changing how they'd work on primaries, and that they would have a higher chance on exotic primaries.
yeah.
But primaries won't have ammo drops.
No, what it means is, I think what it means is if you've got let's say you've got an exotic primary pulse rifle, let's say Outbreak Protected, but you've got rocket launcher ammo finder on, and you get a kill with it, you have an increased chance of that rocket launcher ammo finder.
Oh, compared to if you were using your other primary or energy weapon.
I think that's what they meant, because otherwise,
I hope that's what they meant, because otherwise it is completely useless.
But yeah, so drop mag's downside of reducing
it will
reserve
also
ammo.
mean that, sorry, I was going to quickly say, it will also mean that some of the issues that you might have, like, I don't know, instance overcrowding errors, like when Fighting Lion was like a big thing and you just had a sea of primary ammo everywhere, and you wouldn't pick it up because it'd be generating ammo as well. That won't be a problem anymore.
So yeah, drop mag's downside of reducing reserve ammo is now almost meaningless. So it's been reworked to increase the reload speed but reduce the magazine size, which is a good way, I think, to do it. Compact arrow shaft upside of increasing reserve ammo likewise, so it's been reworked to increase the reload and handling. That's going to be a good thing to have on those. Updated some other perks that refer to reserves in a way that is no longer accurate. See notes on Fighting Lion and Sweet Business in the exotic section below. Oh my god, I just realized.
Oh, Sweet Business with that chest piece.
Sweet Business, Titan chest piece, unlimited ammo. Oh my fucking god, this is gonna be hilarious.
I hadn't thought of that.
Target farming trials weapons is more difficult, much more efficient in season 15. Yes. And we have some cool new perks for players to play around with that we wanted to put on trials weapons. All trials weapons available in season 15 now have 7 perks in each column. Was 5, so obviously it's of the perk pool that it can pull from. When max power
7
level...
from a listed. How many perks are going to be in the pool for each column then? If you're going to grab 7 of them. Oh, okay. Or is the perk? Or is the pool going to be 7 instead of 5?
I think it's going to be 7 instead of 5.
Probably going to be 7 instead of 5. My bad.
That's what I was implying.
Misinterpreted that one.
When max power levels on weapons launch, we reissued several weapons. We saw how frustrated players were having to regrind their favorite roles since perk pools hadn't changed. Based on that, our reissue guidelines from season 13 onwards were to replace most of the perks. Turns out that was an overcorrection, and that certain perks in the original pool become part of the identity of the weapon. Moving forward, the guidelines for reissues will be to remove the least useful 2-3 perks, add 2-3 newer perks that give the weapon some new options and may result in an entirely new top tier role without removing the old one. Yes! Thank you, Bungie! I can... If they repass over the fucking Dreaming City weapons and shit, which I'm assuming... Yes, look, it says here, added... we'll get to that in a second. So they are doing what I was about to say. It means that I will be able to re-roll for my subsistence demolitionist art logic on the moon. That will keep me playing... That alone will keep me playing on the moon for endless amount of hours until I get that fucking roll. I loved that weapon. I interchanged that and my Gnawing Hunger when I did my solo Flawless Prophecy, and oh my god, fucking beautiful gun.
It really
because they're
is.
both 600. Because they're both 600 RPM, it was like the logical choice. You know what I mean? I didn't have to learn different recoil patterns. They basically were both the same because it was based on the RPM of the gun.
Yeah.
And they had the same perk combination, so I could do the same thing. It was just I was switching out one element for the other based on shields. I have the arc shields of the Centaurian type enemies in the desert. Yeah, that's where I used the art logic. Anyway, so yeah, we made some small adjustments. The weapons reissued in 3.2.1 update to move these in the direction of the new reissue guideline. And if you're wondering why our community managers were asking for everyone's favorite roles, now you know. Added 1 or 2 of the original perks each column of the lunar weapons reissued in 3.2.1, i.e. the lectern weapons only. Since these can be target farmed, we're okay with increasing the size of the perk pools in this case. Yeah, I like that, though that needs to be added 1 of the original perks to 1 or both the columns. Streaming City weapons reissued in 3.2.1. Tag Spite, Twilight Oath, by the return. And since these can't be target farmed yet, I like how they put yet, because that basically says, yeah, they're going to be at some point. We didn't want to increase the pool size of these pools by more than 1. The archetype, here we go. No exotics receive these changes unless written otherwise mentioned in the exotic section below. Breach grenade launchers are increasing as a pain point in PvP, and with the shotgun nerf we're seeing a small increase in usage. This change aims to reduce the ease of getting big splash damage or priming or cleaning up targets. We'll watch how things change and make further adjustments in future update if needed. Note that we're fine with how they perform in PvE, so have compensated this. Reduce the blast radius by 0.4 meters. E.g., max blast radius decreased from 4.55 to 4.15. The minimum blast radius decreased from 3.80 to 3.85. 3.40. Fucking hell. I don't know why I'm struggling to read that so badly. Reduce the splash damage by 20, which reduces total damage from a direct hit from 220 to 200 before taking spike or proximity nades into account. Increased damage in PvE by 12% because the above splash damage change results in a small overall buff combined damage. With a horde is unaffected. While machine gun usage is surprisingly high, we felt that they weren't fulfilling their intended role in high difficulty content. Ammo efficiency, ad clear, and a secondary single target sustained damage. Increased damage in PvE by 20%. Yes, machine guns needed that. Like,
yeah,
why would you use a machine gun over a rocket launcher that could just insta melt something in a GM? Like, but scout rifles and hand cannons are weaker
cannons.
than we'd like in hard PvE. So they've increased the damage by 50% to minors.
Only against minors though. So
essentially they've added minor spec to all of them. And then you can still put minor spec on top of it. Fusion rifles have benefited indirectly.
They've got quite a big change to fusion rifles.
Yeah. They've benefited indirectly from the mid-season 14 shotgun nerf, but fusion rifle subfamilies weren't as different from each other as we wanted, and weren't all useful in a variety of content, so we looked at all the options we had for diversifying them and ended up with some substantial changes. This isn't intended to be a global buff to fusion rifles, but we expect some of these to be better counters to other weapons than they were previously. Note that we also evaluated some other options which are worth a bit of discussion. Giving projectiles travel time. We did like the idea of this behavior in Destiny 1, but on investigation found that there were networking issues with rapid fire bursts of non-hit style projectiles, and they didn't play as well as we wanted them to. We may look at this option again in the future. Burst rate of fire. Why am I struggling to read this all of a sudden? This would have meant touching design data and audio for every fusion rifle we've ever shipped, well beyond the scope we wanted for this change. Also, not that interesting of a change. Increased PvE damage bonus such that all subfamilies have a 15% PvE bonus. Previously, high impact was 0% precision and adaptive 10, rapid fire was 12.5. Push subfamilies further apart, adjusting the charge time. Shots fired per burst was 7 for all subfamilies, and damage. Note that the base below means without battery perks and a charge time master work or a depth charge time on that mod. Oh, since I'm struggling to read, Kit, take over. Oh.
Yeah, there's quite a few changes to the fusion rifles here. So what they've done is for high impacts, they charge slower, but still require strong planning to use effectively. So the base charge time is increased to a whole second. You get 7 shots in a burst instead of 5. Oh, 5 instead of 7. So the total amount of damage per burst is down. And then because there's less in a burst, it's more reliant on stability than less reliant on stability because you haven't got to like keep it going for as long. So you can stack a bit more range. The adaptives and precisions, they're pretty close to what they were before. Charge time's not changed. They've still got 7 in a burst. But the total damage per burst is slightly increased. They're sort of like all-rounders. The rapid fires, I think, are the ones that have had the biggest sort of shake-up. So they charge faster, so you can use them reactively against charging enemies or aggressively when you're pushing forward. So the charge time is reduced to 0.46 seconds. That's below half a second now. You get 9 shots in a burst, so you get more damage per burst. And they're more reliant on stability because you've got extra shots in your burst. But with the increased damage, they're slightly less reliant on range. And what I like here is that in playtests, and they found that they're very effective against shotgun rushes. And the combination of them needing to be closer and you having a shorter charge time work well together. And if you've got a good enough time and you can fire 2 bursts with the rapid fire before a high impact finishes charging there first. Because that's the difference of like 0.46 seconds of charge time.
Yeah, true.
To 1 second. So if you time it immediately after the end of your first burst, you'll be charged up and firing your second just before the first one is charged up and firing.
Allowing for like networking and shit, because you know for the fact that you'll probably get a few trade things with that. There's such a margin of error right there.
Yeah,
there's going to be trades happening because of networking, but
oh yeah, by no means is it going to be you're using rapid fire so you instantly get the win. You know.
Yeah. Parts of this work required adjusting several fusion rifle perks and 1 mod. The backup plan's implementation was incompatible with the fusion rifle changes. We felt like the perk could use a rework anyway. Yeah, it was shit. It seemed good in practice, but it seemed good in theory even, but it was shit in practice.
Yeah, so they've had to change it because of how the charge time stat actually ties into the damage that the weapon deals. There's some kind of peculiar links there. But rather than adding to the charge time stat, and they've made a similar change to some of the other mods and perks as well, they changed the charge time multiplier directly. So the charge time multiplier has gone down.
Thank you.
But the scale damage by 0.8. Accelerated coils needed and liquid coils. Again, like I said before, similar reason. They scale the charge time directly and the damage instead of modifying the charge time stat. It also means that they can have perks and tweak the perks to adjust the values separately, which is good for future changes. And by this point, the Adept Charge Time mod felt pointless. So now it scales charge time directly instead of the charge time stat, but it doesn't adjust the damage.
Yeah, so you've still got a reason to like use Adept Big Ones, for instance, rather than.
Yeah.
You got that toss up. Do I use Adept Big Ones or do I use Adept Charge?
Of the available mods that change your charge time to reduce it, the Adept Charge Time mod is the best one because it's the only one that doesn't reduce your damage as well. As I said before, fusion rifle's damage is determined by its charge time stat.
Now I'm picking up what they're putting down. So like they increase the charge time, but they reduce the damage the weapon does.
Yeah, so it charges faster but deals less damage because you can get more shots off per amount of time, so it kind of evens out. When you go by averages.
Evens out in DPS sort of thing.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
With the exception of that one mod, because that doesn't tweak the damage when it changes the charge time. But it's the Adept one. You've got to go through, well, quite a lot to get it.
GMs.
Yeah.
Fusion rifle's damage is determined by the charge time stat, similar to how most other weapons damage is determined by the fire rate stat. Masterworks only increase the weapon stats for performance reasons, so it's not possible to change how the charge time maps onto damage without big changes to how charge time stat works. We're doing this. We investigated doing this by making the masterwork a perk. Wait, by making the masterwork a perk.
Yeah, so kind of similar to the way that some of the exotic weapons have masterworks that add a perk.
Oh, right. Okay.
They looked at like changing the fusion rifle charge time masterwork to add a perk instead of just changing the stats. But it meant that the fusion rifles would exceed the budget for perks. They'd have too many on them, resulting in quote bad things happening, which was the same phrase they'd used in the previous tab when they were mentioning the perk budget.
Right. With the fusion rifle rework, feel that this masterwork is more viable. It now rarely reduces bolts to kill, so may feel not like a downgrade the same way as before. What was this? We'll be watching to see how this plays out. Some other options to address if that's still needed.
And I think they will still need a little bit more tweaking.
Yeah.
But this change does leave the door open for them to be able to do that more easily.
Big changes to the fusion rifles, including all exotic fusions. So we'll be watching for any major issues, and we'll make tweaks as needed.
Oh no, they've made changes to fusion rifles. Telestra's going to break it.
Yeah, Telestra's going to break. Okay.
Like it always does. Anyway, exotics onwards to the shinies. Anarchy has been quite getting quite. Anarchy's been getting quite a lot of use.
Lee knows I'm joking, but yeah, he's been saying for ages, Anarchy Nerf's coming, Anarchy Nerf's coming, and to the point where he's got a fucking command in his chat, exclamation point, Anarchy or Nerf Anarchy or something.
Yeah. Well, here it is. So the total reserve and magazine ammunition has gone down by a whole 10 shots. And there's 30% less damage on bosses. It doesn't apply to champions, though. They're not bosses.
Oh, yes, they're nerfing Xeno too.
Yep. Kind of. So it still receives a bit of the machine gun PV damage buff, but not as much of it. But the fire rate goes down to 90 RPM.
Yeah, it already
feels slow, yeah.
So that's what I mean.
But I think once I'm used to it, I might prefer this because it does then feel more like a big cannon. Because the damage goes up per shot as well. They're reducing the rate of fire to compensate for that.
Right, Fighting Lion.
Yeah, I like the first line of this. Reserve ammo was increased from a lot to infinite because it's a primary weapon.
Yeah.
The third line is very good though. They've reduced the base reload stat of the weapon to 0, making it reload very, very slowly. Which ties into the end of it saying you shouldn't manually be reloading the weapon anyway, really. If you're using Fighting Lion and have to manually reload the weapon, why are you using Fighting Lion? Use something else. You're not making use of the weapon's exotic perks properly. So stop.
Yeah, I'm just thinking that this is going to lead to more and more people spamming Fighting Lion anyway. Right, Vex Mythoclast is... please tell me they're buffing it, right?
Yes, that they are.
This is fucking...
They
from
are.
what I've heard, it's trash.
You know it's good because you had like the twab was trending earlier. Trending. And then I looked on mine when I'd opened the Twitter links and stuff, and Vex Mythoclast was trending.
Alright, bonus damage in PvE increased by 40%. Range stat increased to be near best in class for high impact auto rifles. Increased stability stat. Rework catalyst to grant stability and damage after a kill. Increased rate of fire from 360 to 390. Reduced linear fusion rifle mode charge time from 820 to 533, same as a standard linear fusion rifle.
That is a massive cut in charge time.
Yeah, no longer uses overcharge stat on slow, except when in linear fusion mode. Oh my god, I might have to we might have to like pull a team together, and I need to get this fucking gun. I don't have it. I still need it. We have to touch merciless this way because fusion rifle changes. We figured if we are in here, there, we might as well make it a buff we'd been thinking about. Updated the perk to account for fewer shots per burst. Should build up charge rate at the same amount per burst as before. Reduce the damage penalty for increasing charge rate by 40%. Okay. Charge.
Yeah, so I quite like this because by the time you get it like fully charged up, obviously you get a nice rate of fire, but it's also decreasing the amount of damage you get per shot by quite a bit. So not having that drop as much is going to be really good for the weapon.
Yeah, for real.
Might actually see some use.
Alright, go on. You read the Jotun shit.
Okay. Again, because of the fusion rifle changes that they've made and how the charge time stat works, they made a small change to avoid breaking Jotun. I like that playtesting. It makes almost no difference, but if I didn't mention, somebody would notice it. Right. The charge time has reduced from 0.82 to 0.78. Who is going to notice that difference?
It charges faster.
It charges 0.04 seconds faster. 0.04.
I'd notice. I almost guarantee.
And I'll say why. Right. And also slightly reduced damage per shot to account for that. That's some places that's barely enough time to get a packet to the server and back.
Alright, yeah, true. Okay. I see your point. With latency and shit, yeah, you're not gonna be able to tell the difference.
You know, that's such a marginal change in charge time.
Yeah.
The real difference here is going to be how much they've reduced the damage to account for that. Because if it's by like exactly the same amount, it's going to be a bit odd.
Yeah. Keep going then. You do the bash. I'm strong as a fucking read, dude.
It's fine. It's late. It's fine. Maybe not tired. I don't know. I'm gonna shit myself now. So yeah, with shotguns being less dominant, Bastion saw a bit of an uptick. So they're going to preemptively adjust it in PvP, but it's getting a buff in PvE. So the damage is reduced by 15%, and they're saying it can now not quite kill a Guardian with one shot in the 3 that it fires. The spread angle is being increased by 10%. Didn't they already increase that recently? Oh well, it's getting increased again. And 25% damage increase in PvE. So once you've accounted for everything, you've got around 10% increase in damage for PvE.
Didn't they just give it intrinsic unstoppable as well, like beginning of the season?
I think they did, yeah. So they're really doubling down on okay, we kind of want you to use this in PvE. Nobody's using this in PvE. What can we do to make you use this weapon?
Yeah.
There isn't anything. So here we go. What we were saying about before was sweet business.
Sweet business.
Well, there aren't going to be primary drops on the floor either, so that wouldn't have worked. So it'll refill them either when you pick up special or heavy.
I don't think I know anyone that uses sweet business not on a Titan with that chest piece.
Well, it means that exotic primary weapon. Put your finders on, you'll get more of the special and heavy ammo bricks.
True, and anti-barrier fucking auto rifle next season. Oh my
anti-barrier sweet business.
Oh my god. No, not just anti-barrier sweet business, because that was a thing last season and the season before, and in season of arrivals. I'm talking anti-barrier sweet business with unlimited ammo that self-reloads when you pick up special or heavy ammo, and from the chess piece on a Titan. What the
That's
fuck?
gonna be ridiculous.
This is gonna be mental.
Alright, perk changes. Fire and line. This will be interesting because I kind of like I agree with them. I like the idea of the perk, but I didn't really see its use.
Yeah.
So let's see what they've done. They've reduced the damage bonus to plus 20%. We'll roll on some sniper rifles, linear fusions, and machine guns, and maybe some other stuff in the future. Giving away a bit 2 damage for almost free. I don't think it was almost free, because I mean, all it would take is for someone to fire a rocket and they get, what, 3-4 kills because you're all stood on top of each other? But I never found myself actually making use of firing line, I'll be honest. But apparently people did.
Firing line was one of the like go-to perks for DSC when it was the raid. But anytime you went into a raid with other people in DSC, they were just like, "Oh, use slug shotguns. We're gonna use slug shotguns." Boom.
Yeah, I mean, if you're all stood in the well, then your firing line will proc pretty hard.
But
oh well. Certain damage perks only affected impact damage on explosion weapons, so Kill Clip, Rampage, and Adrenaline Junkie will now increase detonation damage.
Yay!
Yeah, they did need those. And they fixed the incorrect rarity on some recently shipped weapon perks. Were they too rare? Not rare enough? I don't know. They just said they fixed it.
Yeah. Visual effect. Weapon visual effects are all custom, and some didn't meet our desired cool factor. So we've rebuilt these to speed up the process of adding new weapons and updating old ones while updating the visuals at the same time. Updated all grenade launcher and rocket launcher VFX. The legendary fusion and linear fusion rifles now have distinctive damage type, charge, VFX.
Yes. I'm sick of firing a void one and seeing a generic charge.
Yeah, I like that change, but I think the grenade launcher, rocket launchers, if that changes, like, even just the look of it, it makes it feel like you're firing a different weapon. This is going to take some getting used to.
Yeah.
But yeah, the near future. Oh, right, what we looking at, Kit? Season 15, launch, close.
Yeah.
Small adjustment. First off.
Basically just saying, a couple of weeks we're going to say some more stuff, and then like Tuesday we're going to say some other stuff. So just, like keep watching and listening and reading and everything. Yeah. The more distant future, but still before Witch Queen. Linear fusions and caster frame swords not quite where they want them to be, so I'm going to tweak those. Underused and underpowered exotics they're looking at. We're going to take a pass at some of them, including Arbalest, Suros, Cryesthesia, and Malfeasance, and more. Let's see. If you have issues with spamming high rate of fire semi-auto weapons as fast as possible, we've got something in the works for you. Oh, that'd be good. If that's the kind of issue that they're addressing, that I think it's the kind of issue that they're addressing. Where like you try and fire them like at the maximum rate of fire for the weapon, but sometimes it doesn't fire the second or third or fourth shot or whatever, and it just skips one. Yeah. But you still have to wait in between. If they're fixing that, that'd be good. Because I do like semi-auto weapons and firing them like at their pace.
I mean, there's a thing that, right, this is one thing I've always disliked about using a semi-auto weapon, and like, so in a sense of the reason I would pick a M4 in Battlefield and switch it to single file with a scope, put a scope on it, and all that, instead of picking picking up a M1 Grand type weapon, yeah, is because the M1 Grand is like they slow fire rate, whereas because an M4 is supposed to be fired full auto, I can like click like fire it as fast as my trigger finger can go. And I think if anything like that is possible, where a gun looks like it would be able to fire in full auto as well as semi, then it needs to be fireable like as fast as you can clip. Because to me that gives a reason to practice with the weapon, gives a reason to get good with the weapon, and therefore with a certain weapon increases the skill gap. Do you know what I mean? If somebody's not used an M4 single shot and sprays the fuck out of me on auto, but I can fire as fast, if not faster, than they can fire on auto with single shot, then I am obviously the better player. And it relies on me hitting my shots to do that. There's the skill gap.
Yeah.
That's the way I look at it. So that's the reason I hate just semi. So same with Apex, right? I'd prefer to use an R301, which is one of the assault rifles, on semi than I will a G7, even though the G7 hits hard. The R301 does like I think it's like 14 damage a bullet, whereas the G7 does like 30, I think.
Mm.
But you can fire the R3 a whole lot faster. So
yeah.
But
so last thing in terms of like weapons and stuff. Oh, kind of not, but sure. Witch Queen and Beyond. So it's sort of an overview. They said they want legendary weapons to have more identity based on their source, which should be good, depending on how they do it, because obviously a lot of this is just a reskin. It looks like the same as the one you can get from there and there and there and there and over here.
Yeah.
So
kind of like what I was saying earlier, because Ignoring Hunger and Archaeologic are both 600 RPMs. They feel the same,
mm-hmm.
just like reskin.
Mm-hmm. They're tweaking exotic primary weapons to generate ammo faster through ammo finder mods. That's what they're doing for the current season. But they're planning other changes to exotics to make them more enticing in hard PvE content.
That'd
be good.
Can't wait. I want to know. Bungie, hurry up. Time
all right.
moves by. So
guns,
slowly.
guns. Yeah. Let's see. Holding a lot of details of the new season close to the chest. But here's. Oh yeah, Next season's ritual quest weapon is a rocket launcher with the explosive light perk. So do you remember Wendigo? I think it is the explosive light perk on that.
Yes. Oh my god.
Yep.
Yes.
That on a rocket, and it looks nice. I like the look of that rocket.
I actually said
sleek.
when I got Wendigo and I read that perk, I think I actually said it to Hobo. I think it was. It might have been Sorry.
What I am slightly upset about.
I was like, that made more sense if it was on a rocket launcher, and ta-da!
Yeah. What I am slightly upset about is that the perk on the rocket being the ritual weapon for the season was ruined to me a while ago. So it's not particularly exciting. But it does look cool. And I will be trying to get it when it drops.
Yep. Hey, yes! They're bringing back some...
Is that what I think it is?
That's fucking distant future.
The
old Gambit Scout, right?
Yeah, I think so.
They're also bringing back the Prophecy weapons, Trials of the Nine weapons into the Prophecy.
Oh, I've missed this aesthetic.
Fuck yes!
Ah.
Oh my god. I still to this day have my auto rifle and
these going to Prophecy.
Prophecy.
These are going to Prophecy, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, certain ones will drop from specific encounters.
Ooh, that's even better. I'm sorry, that's even better.
Yeah.
I like that.
This is more reason to repeat it. It's nice.
Yeah. On top of these
World
weapons,
loot cool. They're getting some updates.
Hey.
They've been due for a while, to be honest.
Yeah, the worst of the two Dead Orbit Scout Rifles is getting added
Mm-hmm.
in.
As well as
is a lot better than that. Let's face it.
yeah. As well as one of the I can't remember the name of that, but it was like I used to go and get it all the time from Devram. It was like before Nor and Hunger.
Oh, that auto
Yeah,
rifle. Yeah,
the auto rifle.
I
Yeah,
forget the name as well. That was a good one to get, actually. I think I ran through like the majority of the main story campaign with one of those back in like vanilla D2. But yeah, the relief efforts. You know, they do a lot of charity work. Bungie Foundation's mission is to put those beliefs to work. People-focused organization builds and empowers our community, improves the health and well-being of children. Uplift the rights of all individuals and communities, provide aid in times of crisis. We act as the charitable giving arm of Bungie in order to express our company's values outwardly to the world around us. Which, I'm sorry, I don't know. I can't think off the top of my head, other than maybe Digital Extremes, who do stuff with what is it? Extra Life or something? I think they do. Like, I can't think of any other company that I outwardly hear, yes, we're doing all this work to help, you know, the communities, not only our local community, but the worldwide community. As you see here, where is it? I've just read it quickly a minute ago. There you go. Humanitarian crisis our world is facing, including Haiti earthquake, global impacts of climate change, and COVID-19. So it's not just, okay, we're in Washington, we're going to help the Washington community. We're in the US, we're going to help the US as a community. It's, we are on the planet, we are going to help the planet. And I love that about Bungie. So yeah, obviously you've got
and a lot of that will be aided with Direct Relief, because they work. If you can think of the name of a country, they've probably got people working there.
Yeah.
You know.
But yeah, so obviously there's a little bit more information there. I'm not going to read it because we are over our time by half an hour, and I still want to give a little bit of time for us to talk about what we hope to see on Tuesday. Then you've got, 25 donations or more will get this donation emblem. Guardians of Hope pre-order t-shirt, so you can pre-order the t-shirt, and the Bungie Foundation will match up to 25,000, and you'll get this emblem right here for that. And the Bungie Store initiative, all purchases from Bungie Foundation collection made through the month of August will go to the humanitarian. Will support the disaster relief fund. All purchase collection will receive a Planet of Peace emblem delivered via email after complete purchase. You'll get this emblem here, which is similar to a couple of the other like humanitarian.
I think it's the same one. I'm pretty sure they were all called Planet of Peace, weren't they?
I am not sure, but I know they've used the love.
It's not the same as the original Bungie Foundation one.
Yeah.
The banner's different.
Then you've got all like the different little Bungie symbols, like the cross swords, the lightning in the hand, the seventh column, the crest, all on there as well. So, and you've got Team Rubicon and Direct Relief. A little bit of information about the two partners in this venture. So then we go on to Bungie Artist. Oh my god. I am going to download that.
It is pretty. Yeah.
That's getting turned into a background. Like, I'm not even kidding. Look, I ain't got it on
I
this
might
one
do
anymore.
if you go down to, I might do that one.
I haven't got it on this one anymore. I've got it on my let me close down Discord. Not close it, but like minimize it. Oh, I don't even have it on this one anymore. Fuck.
Oh. I do like
You know
it when
what?
they bring out these especially with the wallpaper, like the big ones.
Fuck it.
Um,
We'll change it. We'll change it. We're changing it right this fucking minute. Boom. That one. There you go.
Yeah, I'm gonna get the
I'll probably go do the
I
bottle glass one.
think I'm gonna go. If you scroll down to the sort of the red background one with all the I like that one.
That's kind of cool.
It kind of fits with the colour scheme I've got going on at the minute as well.
Do you know what's cool? I could actually do something really fucking awesome with that. So I don't think I've actually shown any of these off before. But
we're getting premieres.
Let me go into Lee's Discord real quick. Scroll up. Where is it? No. Where is it?
Quality content in there.
Yeah, too many people talking. Fuck it. God damn it. Oh, I could just open it on my actual... Oh, there we go.
Scrolling. Sorry. What have we got?
I made this for Lee. I've also made one for my cousin, and I've also made one for Pash. Right? I could do something with this. Like, have Kitsune running along the back. That is image manipulation right there. Taking somebody else's image and changing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, then obviously we got updates coming, 3.3, which will be Tuesday? Yeah, Tuesday 24th.
Tuesday, yep.
So that'll be the one that goes live with the new season. Adept Big One's mod will now correctly appear in the collections. Yay!
Ooh.
Claim your reward.
Oh, right, yes. Claim your rewards. Make sure that if you've got any Vanguard tokens that you turn them in. Now is the time to do so if you have not done already. Now, I mean, from the day of recording. If you listen to this next week, you've probably missed it.
Pretty much.
But
I'm actually going to try and do... So these episodes have been going out like the week after. On my YouTube. I'm actually going to start... I think I'm actually going to try and get this one out this weekend so that we can actually make sure anybody that watches it...
Anyone who watches it will go, oh shit, that's in like 2 days.
Yeah.
Or, wait, that's tomorrow. Better get that fixed.
I am, however, at the time of recording this is, it's just turned into Friday for us 36 minutes ago. So later today, I am taking my son to the cinema. So I won't be doing it today.
Ooh. Kind of off topic for the podcast, but what's he going to see?
We're going to see The Croods 2.
Nice.
Yeah. Then you've got claim your rewards.
Cosplay names. Sort of basically stuff they've already mentioned in other podcasts, in other weeks. It's just a recap. These are all the rules. This is what's going to happen. I need to make sure that after Tuesday, I log in on my PC first, which is fine because I probably won't be playing on my Xbox once ever.
Crossplay.
Once crossplay's properly out.
Heroes Memorial Quest. This is the quest I was on about, where he basically gets you to go to a fucking what's it called, and go and just says humans and Elixir will be buried beside each other. Ba 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 ba. Like, we get it. We're fucking allied. You realize that 90% of the Guardian population of the game, who play like...
Oh, perfectly fine with you being there with us.
Yeah, so of course there's other, like, in the lore, there's other Guardians out there, right? but we only see
Yeah.
our guardian. We are the special one, and then obviously that's the same for everybody in the game. But from our perspective, everybody else who's playing the game is the other guardian.
Yeah.
Right, but 90% of our guardians, or as you said, are fine with you being there and wanted to murder Lakshmi for suggesting otherwise after fucking week 3 of the season. I still, to this day, every time I go into the override on the last city, you spawn in, you see Lakshmi's body, I still teabag her fucking face because she needs to know her place. But yeah, so known issues. One of the known issues is that Arbalist will not work with anti-champion mods in Season of the Redacted. In a future update, anti-barrier will be added as an intrinsic perk for the weapon. So anti-barrier is getting added to Arbalist. That's gonna be great, actually. I think that's gonna be great.
Yeah.
Because you can have like
Kind of makes sense as well.
Think about it next season. Next season, so Tuesday. If that actually gets added in an update like a week after, for argument's sake, right? By the time GMs come around, you can use Arbalist and anti-barrier. Linear fusion is unstoppable, right? And then you could have overload bow in your secondary.
Yeah, but if it's anything like the other exotics that have got intrinsic, they won't stack.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If you have a fusion rifle, linear fusion, as your heavy, you could have unstoppable on that.
Yeah.
Is what I'm saying.
Yeah, you can. Sorry, my bad.
Kind of like this season with unstoppable grenade launcher. If you wasn't running Anarchy, you could run like another unstoppable elsewhere. Like, oh no, you could run Divinity as Overload and then Anti-Barrier Scout, for argument's sake, for Warden and Upper, because it has all 3 champions. So yeah, and then the when charged melee is mapped to an input, changing the button layout will retain that mapping. Players can reset the custom loadout, clear the mapping to charged melee to fix this issue. Vex Fanatic's Radiolarium fluid pool exists and continues to do damage about 8 or 9 seconds after the visual pool disappears. And then Nova Warp doesn't blink if hold sprint is active. So these are, the known issues. Then we've got movie night, so movie of the week. Destiny Fashion 2 fashion show, which is kind of funny because they look like Power Rangers. Movie of the week, Circle of Life. We recreated Lion King in Destiny 2 from Vivio. 15 subscribers. That's, you know what, I like that. 90 subscribers. So these aren't like huge Destiny 2 content creators, you know what I mean? These are people that have won and may now actually get some sort of recognition from this and build a brand upon it. I like that. That's very. They had last week where they were going, here's some of the biggest content creators in the community all doing GM videos, and then there was one that was like, oh, it's not a GM video. And then now you've got some of like small. I like that. I very much like that.
Yeah.
Artists of the week, we succeeded. Yes, Civics, we succeeded. Pink Chaos is on there.
Yes.
Civic said,
we are
going to get them to put her in the 12. If I have to keep retweeting, quote tweeting, and tweet at them, we are getting her put in the 12. And I think it was KB, turned around and said, she deserves to be known. And Civic said, that's the goal. And and then I put in the chat, I was like, she will be by the time we're done. And boom, let's go. I'm actually happy about that. I feel like I've helped in some way of regard because I was liking and retweeting the tweets myself too.
It's a bloody good piece of work as well.
Yeah. Some of the other stuff she's done is amazing and all.
I saw that on my feed like a few times actually.
Oh, this one.
Pink
Chaos.
Pink Chaos, as well.
Yeah.
The sort of Ouija board book thing.
I like that.
And the glowy rock. That was nice.
Yeah, 5 more sleeps until the reveal. You're more than welcome to join us for the main party on our channel. And then obviously that's going to link channels. But if you have a community that you like watching reveals with, co-streaming is allowed for this event. We've been
I'd be surprised after the last few that they've done if it wasn't.
Yeah.
But it's good that they've like gone, hey, yeah, there's the thumbs up, go for it.
Yeah, you're not gonna get DMCA'd from us, sort of thing. But yeah, fucking, you're hyping this up, but at the same time, we don't want to overhype. Let's just say you should expect at least one video and someone talking about Destiny. Oh my god. Kind of a fucking given, Cosmo. Come on. I've said too much. Listen, we are excited and hope you enjoy what we've been cooking up. See you next Tuesday. All right, you just called me a cunt. And there's a hyperlink on the full stop.
Yeah, they do that from time to time where they just hide.
Oh, that's kind of funny.
What did he hide? The cat. Yeah.
Right, where was the
cat?
Oh no, it was last week. So we'll leave that. Let me refresh the following page, and I will switch us back to the just normal the scene that we.
So when we wrap up then, and we see who is live to go to.
Well, firstly, I want to.
Tomorrow, not tomorrow. Tuesday.
Yeah. Firstly, so, what are you hoping to see? Because I already know, like, mine's gonna be a.
I would expect to see and want to see weapons. Like gear. Even if it's just like a couple of frames. And we have to like scroll through to go and just look at everything. I always look forward to doing that.
I mean, for me, the reason I said that mine's gonna be kind of long-winded.
Where they're at compared to where they would have been, like, you know, what with all the delays and shit. That if they address that, like, okay, we thought we'd be here, and actually we're here. Like, even if they, you know, okay, we accounting for the delay that we've had, we thought we'd be here, but like we're actually a little bit further ahead. So, you know, here's this that we can show you, sort of thing.
Yeah. I'm hoping for an actual release date. We're bringing it February 15th or whatever. I don't even know whether that's a Tuesday because they're likely to launch it on a Tuesday. But just for argument's sake, right? I want them to name a date so that we actually know, okay, right, we've got X amount of months until the release. I want them to voice and maybe even write it in a fucking blog post, confirm that season 15 is running from Tuesday until the release, because I'm sorry, if that's the case, it's gonna die fast. Judging on the content we've had so far this year, right? I'm looking for potentially them to turn around and say in which Queen we are going to New Chicago, Old Chicago, whatever. You know, some sort of setting, maybe. Just to get people in the community hyped about where we're going. Kind of like we had okay, you're going to Europa, and then in Season of Arrivals, you had the ending thing where you went to the room with all the statues and Darkness Ship in the middle, and it said, ultimate power waits for you on Europa. And then Stasis came out and was OP as shit in Crucible. But, yeah.
They weren't wrong.
So yeah, I'm hoping for those kind of things. But then also like, I also want like a repeatable activity, kind of like fucking Menagerie, or Court of Auric type thing. You know what I mean? Like, just something where I can go in, mindlessly farm with other players. That I don't need to be rocking fucking X, Y, and Z champion mod, like the overrides or the fucking battlegrounds. Like, we get it. You want champions to be involved in fucking everything, but it's artificial difficulty. It doesn't need to be in the game. Fucking GMs are artificially harder than Master Nightfalls. Why? Because they do more. You are power capped. They do more damage. There's more champions, and you've got the res token. Other than that, they're exactly the same difficulty. Like, everything's exactly the same as a master, in my opinion. The master bog, from what I've seen, is like, obviously it's doable because it has to be for playability's sake, but it's also a fucking bitch to do. Again, it's artificial difficulty that is brought on by power level cap and like champions and increased champions. Like, don't give us champion. Just give us like normal mode from D1 and then hard mode from D1. So normal mode you can res all the times you like. Hard mode you can't res at all. Do away with the fucking light vanishes in 2 minutes fucking bullshit timer that comes up in the corner. And just like, because I'm telling you now, a lot more people will go in and do normal raids to learn how to do them. If you don't have to worry about, oh, well, you've only got 6 res tokens. And if it's the same person that dies multiple times, like, let's say they die 5 times, they're the only one with a res token, guess what? They can't res themselves. And so everybody else has to complete the encounter in 2 minutes, or guess what? Wipe, and you have to go again. And that person feels like they're holding everybody. It makes it worse for other people. You know what I mean? Like, oh, so many ideas. But
yeah, that's one of them. I don't think that they're gonna do just yet.
I doubt it.
I mean,
I can hope.
You know,
I can hope, but I'm not gonna hold my breath.
No.
Because if I hold my breath, I'll die of fucking suffocation.
Yeah, that's not a fun feeling.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, so I think with that being said, and with being said what I said before we went live with the podcast, about asking somebody for their input in 2 weeks' time, I think we're gonna go and raid Lee.
Okay.
He is live. He's playing Apex. I'm gonna pull the screen back up real quick.
I'm getting shit on, bro.
I need to mute this tab because I don't know whether that's DMCA. But yeah, so we're gonna go and raid Lee and take us out, think it.
Okay. Well, if you hear, actually, it doesn't really matter if you're here live or if you're watching the video. Thank you for watching. If you're listening on one of the podcast platforms or audio only, thank you for listening. What else was I gonna say?
Alright, I'll do it. We're gonna raid Lee. If you're a regular here,
Oh, the emotes, of course.
Yeah, and you're subbed, spam those emotes when we get over there. You can use channel points to unlock them for 24 hours.
Oh, you got them.
Yeah.
Oh well. There's also Twitch raid and Tomb raid.
Yeah.
If you don't have them, and don't want to subscribe or spend channel points to get them for 24 hours.
But yeah, Tomb raid and Twitch raid, I'll put in the chat
for
right
you.
now. I got them. Oh, there you go.
Well, we've both got all the emotes. It's fine. They're everywhere. Go and grace Lee's chat with those emotes when we head over then.
Yep. And again, I echo what Kit said. Thank you very much for watching and listening, whichever platform you're watching or listening on. And we'll see you on the next one. Peace.
Goodbye.